Welcome to the Confidence Tea Podcast, where we brew up inspiration, self-discovery, and a sprinkle of empowerment, all over a cup of tea. Please welcome your host, Virginie Madiston. Virginie is a passionate advocate for personal growth and wellness, blending the art of tea with the journey of confidence. With a background in psychology, theology, and coaching, she believes every sip of tea can lead to a transformed mind, edified soul, and activated confidence. So get ready to steep yourself in uplifting conversations, insightful stories, and practical wisdom. Without further ado, here's your host of the Confidence Tea Podcast, Virginie Madiston.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Confidence Tea Podcast. I'm your host, Gigi, and tonight we have a very special guest in the house, Miss Cami Reed, author of Dear Black Woman. I am so excited to dive into this amazing conversation with Cami tonight. So stay tuned, grab your favorite cup of tea, and let's join us in this amazing conversation. So I definitely want to make sure that you guys are keeping up to date with everything that Confidence Tea has happening. We have so many amazing things going on right now at Confidence Tea. So I'm going to tell you about them, okay? First of all, don't forget to subscribe and join our confidence community. It's a community of like-minded individuals that are on the same confidence journey as you. So how amazing it is to be able to have an army of women that are on the same mission. So we invite you to join our confidence community on Facebook, and it's Confidence Tea. That way we can all accomplish this thing together. So excited. Also, you asked, we are putting on a tea party we have partnered with Gigi Inc., which is the nonprofit that I founded, Girls Igniting Greater Inner Strength. And we are celebrating 8 years, and we are hosting a relaunch tea party. So you guys are all invited as my special guests. Come out and join us. You'll be able to have some of our amazing teas. So if you've never tried the Confidence Teas, definitely come out to the relaunch celebration. You'll be able to have some delectable treats, awesome networking with some amazing women. You'll meet our board. You'll see and hear about our vision for 2025, as well as get to meet some of our past mentees. So we are super, super excited about that. The date is November the 30th. It's going to be in Boca Raton, Florida. You do not want to miss this amazing event. We are looking forward to seeing you in the place. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Let me know in the chat where you are tuning in from. This is definitely a dialogue and not a monologue. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what you have going on. So say hello, say hi in the chat. Let me know where you are tuning in from. Let me know what city, what state. And we definitely look forward to hearing from you tonight in the conversation. Ask us some questions, give us some woohoos, give us some stars. Let us know we are doing a great job by having this conversation. So I am looking forward to it tonight. So without further ado, let me introduce our guest for tonight's show. She is such an amazing woman. I'm so glad our paths got to cross. So Cami Reed is a multifaceted entrepreneur, wellness expert, and author dedicated to empowering people through sustainable nutrition, trauma-based emotional healing, and spiritual growth with cooking therapy. With degrees in music, media, culinary, and nutritional sciences, she leverages her diverse expertise to guide others towards holistic well-being. Having overcome cancer, homelessness, and abusive relationships, Cami now leads Cami Reed Wellness and Ladies Chronicle Publishing, supporting people in thriving after trauma. Her initiatives, including the Dear Black Woman book and podcast and NutrifyHer program, inspire women to embrace their health and worth, embodying her motto, healthy, healed, whole. So, Confidence Tea lovers, please welcome Cami Reed.
Hello.
Hi,
Okay, so
Cami. How are you?
I'm awesome, and my last name is Red, like the color, but with two
Oh
D's.
my God, am I calling you the wrong? Did I say it wrong?
You said Reed, but that's
I'm
okay.
so sorry.
That's okay. And I loved your intro. First of all, I love what Confidence Tea stands for. That is just outstanding. I was like, oh my God, that is so cool.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you. We clicked at like first conversation. Like it was just like instantaneous. You said hello, I said hello, and we've just been, nonstop.
It was like that on the phone for us. It was like that in our pre-interview. It's just been a blast to get to know you, just to have conversation with you.
Yeah. And you the same, because you are just an amazing woman. You are amazing. You are daring. You are bold, girl. You are just doing big things. I'm so excited to talk about it. Like, audience, you guys are in for an amazing treat. This woman right here is she is making some power moves. Okay, you hear me? Power moves, doing big things. So I am so excited. Tonight, Cami, we are talking about thriving after trauma. And you have been through a lot.
Yes.
You don't look like what you've been through. That's for sure.
Thank you. That is the goal, okay? Because in order for you to get past it, in order for you to live it, you got to focus in on you. And I tell people that all the time. I'm 44 years old. I have a 25-year-old son. And a lot of times people look at me and say, 44? What? You must not have had any stress in your life. And I say, no, I just don't look like what I've been through.
Quite the contrary. The contrary.
I take care of myself. I know what I want to eat, how to eat right. And I'm not one of those people that push my beliefs on you. I think in wellness, we should meet our client where they are. So wherever you start your journey, and we're going to just work on improving and making you a better version of you the same way I am constantly and every day working to be the best version of me that I can be.
That is awesome. That is amazing. I am so proud of you. You are a breath of fresh air. You really, really are. So I am super, super proud of you. And I'm just excited to dive into this amazing conversation with you tonight. Because you named it Thriving After Trauma. And I know that there are a lot of people, a lot of our listeners, a lot of women that go through a lot of different traumatic events that sometimes we don't always get the opportunity to talk about. And we don't always get the opportunity to heal from. And so tonight, I want to give you an opportunity to kind of talk about that, talk about the trauma, and how you were able to thrive and go above the trauma. Because sometimes it's one thing to be in the story, but after it's happened to you, you now need to stand on that story and regain your power. And so you have done that. So I want our listeners to hear, the process and what that looks like. So let's talk about that.
So the very first step that we all have to take is we have to acknowledge the trauma. One of the things that we and dare I say, Black women or any woman that we do is we try to maintain this mask. We try to say life is perfect, life is this, life is that, when in reality, there are things that we have all been through, whether that looks like domestic abuse, sexual trauma, cultural trauma, you just having a illness. What I mean by that is medical trauma, or even just, maybe you had a car accident. I often tell people something as small as a car accident held me down for about 4 years. And I had to get over and tell myself, hey, girl, hey, sweetie, at the end of the year, you're going to be driving. So whatever steps we got to take to get past some of this trauma, we're going to take those steps. So first, we have to acknowledge that the trauma exists. We have to stop. We got to take off those masks, take off the everything is perfect, everything is beautiful in my life. Not saying don't be positive. Me, I am the most positive person you will ever meet, but I'm also realistic. Okay.
Yes.
I
There's a
know.
thin line. There's a fine line between positivity and reality.
Yes. So you have to live in your reality. You want to acknowledge it first. Then the second step is seek support. Listen, we got this stigma in the Black community that therapy is not something for us. Therapy is for all of us.
Yes,
and if
it
you
is.
think therapy is for crazy people, then guess what? You're the crazy person.
I've even had a lot of my pastoral friends that say, I believe in Jesus and therapy.
You got to meet it in the middle. Listen,
because you need it.
You see, I teach about spiritual wellness, but what I also teach about is the interconnectedness of all of these different facets of wellness. Your physical wellness affects your emotional wellness. Your emotional wellness is affected by your financial wellness. Your spiritual wellness is affected by all of these things. So you have to find balance on every level of your life in order for you to be healthy, healed, and whole. So those are my key phrases. But the most important thing is understanding and realizing that there has to be balance in every area. And if you want to thrive after trauma, it begins with acknowledging your trauma, seeking support, and then working through all of that.
Yes. I definitely agree. I think a lot of times people go through traumatic experience and they don't acknowledge that, yes, this was, and you said it, a car accident is a traumatic experience. Even going through a medical scare sometimes is a traumatic experience. And a lot of times we don't process all of the emotions that we had to go through in the process of whatever that thing was. And so we never receive that true healing, and we don't acknowledge what we've been through. And so it doesn't allow us to move forward.
I was 34 when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Wow. And here's the thing in reality about living in America. Most women don't get mammograms until they're 40. So when you do the research as a 34-year-old and they're telling you that most women your age die when they are diagnosed with breast cancer, how traumatic can that be? How scary can that be? So then you go and you do, for me, it was going and doing chemotherapy. That's something against all of my beliefs. But I also read where if I didn't have this, I was going to die. Guess what happened in between that? I started to learn more about chemotherapy. I started to ask my doctors about the medications they were pumping into my body. I started to educate myself because I was a chef. I've been a chef for over 20 years. So I was already feeding people's bodies, but I started to educate myself on what food really did for us. And instead of living in my trauma, I channeled my experience into growth for me. My doctor wrote my recommendation letter for me to go to school for nutritional science. So I took that traumatic experience and turned it into something else that was going to make me grow. So that's all a part about dealing with your trauma, not just living in it, not just existing in it, but literally thriving and moving forward with it.
Wow. That's amazing. That is so amazing that you were able to, despite the obstacle that you had to go through, you were able to basically take your lemons and turn that into some freshly squeezed lemonade.
Or as a chef, what I like to tell people is I took my lemons and I made lemon meringue pie. I made lemon marmalade. I made lemon custard. I did all of that.
You did all of that. Yes. Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing. That you were just able to, because I know a lot of people after they take that hit, some people, it's not even the cancer that kills them. It's just they stop living.
Yeah, you choose. So what a lot of people don't know is the the medication is worse than the disease. Okay. So let's just put it out there. Let's be honest. Okay. So you can choose to fight with the medication or fight against the medication. One of my favorite sayings that I love to say to my clients is, you can either be with a group of people telling you that you can't do it, you won't do it, and that you will lose and it won't look this way, or you can be with the group of people and be your biggest cheerleader, telling yourself, yes, I can do it. Yes, I will live. Yes, I will move forward. Yes, I will do this. Yes, I will be successful. So you get to decide how life is going to look for you, and if you're going to continue with life, or you're just gonna lay down and die.
Yeah. And the choice is really always ultimately up to you. It is your choice. But whatever choice you make is usually what that outcome is gonna be.
Yeah. Now let me say this: there are some cancers that will take you out immediately, and I'm not speaking about those. Those, God willing, I pray that if you ever develop one of those, that you are the out of the norm of people who actually perish right away. Like, we hear about people who get diagnosed with certain types of cancers and a month later they're gone. There are certain cancers that will take you out. There are certain stages of cancers that will take you out as well. Luckily for me, I found out about my breast cancer when I was at stage 0+, which means that I had not yet even moved into stage 1. They were able to catch it. They were able to treat it. They were able to remove the lump from my breast. I did not get both of my breasts removed. I didn't have to have that. So I was blessed. And I often say a lot of the stuff that I went through is so that I can know what other people are going through as well, so that I can help them through those situations. So I'm a firm believer that God put me here for a reason. I've experienced certain things for a reason, and it might not have been for my journey, but for the edification of someone else.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so awesome, because sometimes we do go through things not for ourselves, but for somebody else, because we might be called to help somebody else or to help thousands, millions of people. And I know you're just called to the nations. You are just called to the nations, Cami. So let's continue the conversation, because you were able to thrive in that. I know that was one traumatic, your bio mentions multiple traumatic. What else happened after the cancer?
So listen, cancer is just one of the things that I've been able to overcome. I was a teenage mom. I had my own first and only child when I was 18. I didn't know what I was going to do in life, how I was going to raise them. And what we often overlook is the fact that motherhood is a traumatic experience, no matter how joyful it may be. It is traumatic. When you don't know what it's like to be a parent, that's why even in your teenage years, even in your adult years, when you become a parent, we get a lot of women suffer from postpartum, because you get this sense of depression. You get this sense of, oh my God, am I going to be worthy enough? Am I going to do this right? Am I going to, so you're inflicting this trauma on you. So imagine as a teenager how that feels. Like I was in my Lamaze class with, and this was when I was 18. I'm currently 44. I was in a Lamaze class with an 11-year-old.
Wow.
So imagine how traumatic that was for her.
Yes.
So overcoming that doesn't look like certain steps. That means self-care, me telling myself, hey, guess what? I may make mistakes, but it's okay to make mistakes. But as long as you learn from those mistakes, you get a lesson from those mistakes, and you take that lesson and apply it to your life. That's what thriving is. Thriving isn't always, oh, life is great.
Great.
No, it's not. It means that you can learn from the lessons, learn from the mistakes that you have actually made, and apply those lessons to your life so you don't make those mistakes again. My dad told me a story when he found out I was pregnant, about a judge here in Georgia who I believe was a second district judge at the time. She was a higher up type of judge. She got pregnant when she was 16. She got pregnant with twins. She went on to continue high school. She went on to continue college. She went to law school. She did all of that. And now she's a judge. So guess what? nothing held her
Her
back.
back. Yeah.
Yeah. So just think about that. If you're in a situation where you find yourself at a loss or you feel like you're at a loss, guess what? Somebody else's story out there is twice as bad as yours, and they figured out how to move forward. Go read their story so you can figure out how to move forward in your life as well.
Yeah.
And one of the things I'm often talking about is when my son was 10, we were homeless. Not that I didn't have a job, it was just that my job didn't support living in the area that I lived in. So we found ourselves homeless. I could have separated from my child and put him in foster care. I could have done all of that, but I fought very hard to stay with my son and keep my son. We got blessed because we ended up in a program called Family Promise. And shout out to Family Promise. In every city I go to, in every city I work in, I try to find a Family Promise because I am always giving back to you guys. They are a nonprofit organization that keeps families together when they're unhoused. And what they do is they partner with local churches, and they will set up with those churches for a week so that you go stay in either the church parish house, or the church will set up rooms and things like that for you in there. They feed you, they give you what you need for your child to take for lunch.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they
Wow.
make sure that you're taken care of. So this is the first time I wrote my first book while I was homeless. Okay. Now, I was working a job. I was operations manager for a chia seed flour company. I was also blessed enough to be able to work in Florida when the Miami Marlins stadium was built.
Yeah.
So I got to consult on that as a gluten-free certified chef. So all of this was happening while I was homeless. You understand? So my caseworker came to me one day and she said, I want to talk to you. And I said, why? And she said, because every church you go to, we get a report about you. And I said, uh-oh, what did I do? She said, no, you don't understand. It's not a bad report. It's a report that's saying that they're supposed to be there to help you, and you somehow have been helping these people. And I was like, wow, really? Well, you never know. And I told her then, I said, you never know where God puts you or where God is going to do for you. So you got to look for the silver lining in every situation that you are in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got to find that silver lining. You got to be able to say, hey, you know what? Despite where I'm at in life, this is what I'm going to continue to do. And I'm going to continue to shine, grow, and be the authentic, true, real person that I am, because you never know whose life you're going to change, whose life you're going to touch, or how that's going to change your life as well.
And that's so true. You said something so profound, because oftentimes we think we're going through something and it's all about us, me, 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 me. But the truth of the matter is sometimes we're in positions or we're in situations for us to connect to other people.
Yes.
And sometimes whatever it is, despite what you're going through, you have keys to that person's next anything, next level, next opportunity, whatnot, even though you're in. So sometimes we just have to get out of the mindset of where we are and focus on, okay, what are we supposed to do, and the purpose. There's always a purpose. God says he works everything out for our good, and so sometimes we can't always see the good, right, in the moment when we're going through the trial and we're going through the tribulation. But oftentimes there's, like you said, there's a silver lining, there's a reason behind it, and so we just have to become better as we're growing and we're learning to be more confident. We definitely have to make sure that we're more observant as well. We're observing our surroundings, we're observing everything that we're going through at that moment, yes, but also looking to see, who can I help, who can I support, who can I be of service to. And a lot of times when you're going through something and you take on that attitude and that mindset, you'll be surprised how quickly you get out of your situation, because you're so focused on helping other people, helping somebody else. I was just
ready to say, by helping others, you truly help yourself.
Yep, you help yourself. You help yourself.
I wrote a book called 21 Days of Gratitude. And I know we're supposed to be talking about Dear Black Woman, but I wrote a book called 21 Days of Gratitude. The reason why I wrote that book is because even on days that you don't feel like there is anything for you to be thankful for, you
there's always
still need to give gratitude. Even if you're having a dark day, you need to write down three lessons that you learned from that dark day so that you can move forward. And when you get ready to go back and look in the journal that I wrote, you'll be able to look and say, you know what, in this moment I was feeling so low, but I thank God for the lesson that I was able to learn on that day, because what it did is it set me up. Maybe that lesson was discernment. Maybe you needed to learn to be more discerning of the people that you have around you. Maybe that lesson was kindness. Maybe you needed to learn to be kind to people around you. Who knows what the lesson is or why you were having a bad day, but regardless of whatever life looks like, you need to give gratitude every day.
Yeah. And that is so, so true what you're saying, because we always think that, but we have so much to be grateful for. I was talking to somebody this week, and they were making a comment about, them being poor. And I was like, you don't have, and you know how when somebody says they're poor, but it's like, no, you're not there.
You're not finding the abundance and the richness in your life.
And I said, you need to really relook at your situation. And I said, sometimes you have to almost take yourself out of your environment, place yourself somewhere else. Sometimes the worst day that you have, somebody somewhere else is praying for that day.
Yep.
So, so sometimes we have to really be mindful of our language, be mindful of the words that we are speaking over ourselves and over each other. And I'm I'm a big component of words. I don't let people you just can't say anything to me, and you just can't call me anything, and you just can't say certain words around me, because words have power and they travel. And it's important for us to know, as you're building your confidence. And I think that's one of the reasons I'm so passionate about it, is because as you're building your confidence, you have to be aware, because there are people that's going to come and try to uproot the work that you've done. And so you have to be mindful, and you have to protect it at all costs. There's a chapter in my book where I talk about protecting your confidence, because once you've done the work and you have, been diligent, and you've been writing your gratitudes, you've been affirming yourself, and you've been doing all these great and amazing things, somebody can come around and just tear that thing all apart. And you have to be mindful of that and protect it.
You just spoke to me in a way that you don't even understand. Here's the thing. What you just said about protecting your confidence and how somebody can come around and break all that down is a reflection of what I went through for the past 2 years in my last relationship. And one of the things that I am actually working on in therapy is finding my confidence again, and building my worth and building my value, understanding who I am. My therapist, first, let me say this before my therapist made me Google myself and write a report on myself. Have you literally write a report on myself, not for me to be conceited or anything like that, or braggadocious or anything like that. She wanted me to understand the things that I had accomplished already in life prior to this relationship, and how I allowed somebody to come into my life and tell me that I was worthless, tell me that I was of no value to anybody, to break me down to the point that I no longer recognize myself. So that is how I birthed the book, Dear Black Woman, if I'm being honest with you. That was actually a therapy assignment. My therapist made me write letters to myself to tell myself who I was. And once she read them, she told me, she said, you know what? You are a gifted author, and I keep forgetting that writing is your side hobby. And I said, yeah, that's my side hustle. That's what I just do, just to free up my mind and all of this stuff. And she said, I'm going to show these to my colleagues. She showed them to her colleagues. She came back to me and she said, you need to publish this and you need to get this book in every hand of all these Black women out here so that they can hear this, because there are women out here that need to understand some of the things they have gone through. And I'm going to say this, it's not just for Black women. It's called Dear Black Woman, because what am I? I'm a Black woman. I can't speak to you from nobody else's perspective. Okay?
That's true. Yeah.
I can't be a man. I can't be a white woman. I can't be an Indian woman. I can't be none of that. In America, I am a Black woman. So guess what? Dear Black woman. But I suggest anybody pick it up.
Because it will translate. It will translate.
Yeah, definitely. It will. It is not like it's saying, hey, Black women are this, Black women. No, it's what it's saying is, hey, some of the things that you're going through, you don't have to go through them. You need to see yourself for who you are. The very first chapter of the book is called Perfection Ain't Real. And that's because one of the things we always say to ourselves is, oh, I got to wait for the perfect time, or I got to wait for the perfect moment, or I got to wait for this to be right, or that to be right, or I got to look a certain way, and I got to have this together, and I got to have that together. Yeah. Well, guess what, boo? That's all fear-based. And you telling yourself all of this stuff as an excuse not to move forward at that moment right there in life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I hear women say, this is a big one when it comes to like weight and what, because I've struggled with my weight and my confidence. And, I hear women, oh, I'm going to do it when I get a certain size. And if that isn't the biggest lie of the enemy, that will hold you hostage.
But guess what? You never, this the other part, you never make the steps to be a certain size. And what you're doing is you're giving yourself excuses as to why you're not going to do this and why you're not going to do that. Then you ask them, well, what are you doing to lose weight? What are you doing to take care of yourself? Now, some of you all out there may have weight issues due to underlying diseases, but those of you that are just eating, this is my favorite because this is what I specialize in, emotional eating. Okay. Whether you're eating to hide your trauma, you're not eating to deal with your stress, whether it's overeating or lack of
undereating.
Yeah, it's all emotional based eating. Okay. And a lot of us deal with that in different ways, where we will go hours without eating because we're working a job and totally stressed out. Then the next thing you know, you're sitting at home with a bucket of ice cream.
Yes, guilty as charged. I've been there. I have been there.
And I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with that, because in mindfulness, listen, I'm gonna tell you something. As a woman, there are days where, first of all, I don't even like chocolate. Okay. And I know my cycle is coming on because I will eat everything in the house that is chocolate. Okay. But any other day out of the week, any other week out of the month, you're going to hear me say, I don't want that because I don't eat chocolate. Then you're going to look at me crazy when you see me demolish a whole pack of Oreos. Okay.
Wow.
So I'm not saying, because like I said, I'm not perfect. I don't desire to be perfect. I just desire to be Candy. And I understand that healthy, because at my largest, I was a size 24. At my lowest, I was a size 6. I'm comfortable right now at a size 12. Do you understand me?
You're right there with me. At my highest, I was a 26. At my lowest, I was a 6. And I tell people, listen, I have been all the sizes in between, and I make each one of them look good. Okay.
Thank you.
And that's the place where I've grown to get comfortable in my skin, though. That was a journey. That was a process for me.
Because society tells us that we're supposed to look a certain way. Yep. But guess what? If you're Black, if you're Hispanic, go look at your ancestors. They come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, boo.
That's right. That's right.
You can't tell DNA what you're supposed to look like. All you can do is be healthy and
embrace who you are. Like I embrace it all. The thickness, the everything, we gonna embrace it all of it.
Well, let me tell you something. I'm embracing it every day. Okay. Every day.
You got to give yourself that love. Listen, no one's gonna nobody can love you like you love you. And that's the
Nobody can.
reality of it. And I tell people, like, going through the process, like, if you've never dealt with insecurity and you, like, you don't know, and journey back, let me say that, like, that's the difference. Not you've been insecure and you just stuck in that place of insecurity, but I'm talking about you gone through the journey of insecurity and built your way back to confidence. You don't let nobody mess with that, because it's a process, it's a journey, it's hard work. It's
It
hard work
is.
to get
And
back to that place. You know what
mhm,
I'm saying? So
I
when
know.
you've gone through, it's just like I tell people, like, if you've never been broke, and you, like, it's different. Like, coming from a person who was wealthy and lost it all and had to journey back to wealth is completely different from somebody that's just always been broke all their life. Like, that is just a different, it's a different mindset. And so if you have, been confident and lost it and had to journey back to it, you're going to protect that thing at all costs, because you know how much you had to work to get it.
You said a mouthful, because that's where I'm at right now in life. Like, you're not gonna tell me who I'm not. You're not gonna tell me
No.
who I ain't, who I'm not gonna be. What's crazy is I took this book and I wrote this book out of my own journey. And you know what I said after I wrote this book? I guess I was been useful. I guess I was value. I guess I was beneficial to the entire world, because
Period.
yeah, now off this book, I have a podcast that is not only here in the United States, but international, because my co-hosts, one is in Paris, one is in the UK. And I did not realize how many Black women were going through the same things that I was going through. So
Absolutely.
my journey of being told I was valueless, I was worthless, all of that stuff came from, and it transpired into something that made me of benefit to the entire world.
Wow, that is so awesome. That is so amazing. I mean, every time I talk to you, I'm just like, I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you.
Thank
You have
you.
so many amazing things. We've just, we definitely got to get on here, because I don't even know where the time went. And I'm just like, what? We have barely scratched the surface. But, I definitely want you to tell our listeners how they can connect with you, what you have going on, how to get a copy of the book, all of the good stuff. Tell them all of the good, the podcast, how to get connected with that. Tell them everything.
Okay, so the podcast is on YouTube, it's on Spotify, it's on Pandora, it is on your favorite podcast platform, and it is called Dear Black Women. Or let me just say this to you: Google me. My name is Cami Red. It's just like it's spelled across the screen. You're going to find me everywhere. On Facebook, on Instagram, I am Cami Red, the number 4 and the word life, Life. So Cami Red for life. On TikTok, I am Cami Red. On YouTube, I am Cami Red. My website is www.camired.com. I also have a publishing company. So if you want to turn your test into your testimony, your trauma into a testimony, I can help you publish your book as well. And that is Red Ladies, and that is REDDLADYS, and that stands for Refined, Empowered, Dedicated, and Determined to Love and Desire Yourself. And that is
I love that.
my website as well. So you can find it www.redladies.com, spelled like my last name, REDD. And I'm everywhere. I swear to God, I am. When I Googled myself, I found myself on the first 15 pages of Google, nothing but me. So if you
Wow.
Google me, you will find me there as well. It will either direct you to my Facebook page, to my Instagram page, to my YouTube. It will direct you somewhere where you will see this big curly hair and this beautiful red smile.
Yes, 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 yes. That is awesome. That is awesome. Definitely get connected with Cami. This has been so amazing. It's been so nice and so refreshing just talking to you this evening. And I hope everyone in the audience, I hope you guys definitely connect to Cammie, grab a copy of Dear Black Woman. Listen, even if you're not a Black woman, you're a woman,
And let me just say, if you're not a reader, don't worry about that. I got you covered. It's on Audible as well. Okay.
See, she thought about everything. So she has got you covered. Grab you a copy of Dear Black Woman. And just to close off, thriving after trauma, Cammie, what is one piece of advice that you could give to our listeners of how they can thrive after trauma, after they've gone through the bad relationship, after they've gone through just difficulty in parenting, whatever that traumatic experience has been? What's one piece of advice that you could give for them to thrive after trauma?
I'm going to actually start with what I said earlier. I'm going to give you 3 things to do. Acknowledge your experience, seek professional support, and then use this channel your experience into growth. So acknowledge it, get support, build a tribe, and channel this into growth. Turn that trauma into something that's going to make you a better version of yourself.
I love that. I absolutely love that. Cammie, thank you so much. We have to do this again. We definitely.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. And I'll be there anytime you need me to.
Thank you, girl. Thank you. Yeah, you stuck with me now. Like I tell people, like,
Listen,
once you go Gigi, like you don't go back. Like
I'm not gonna go back because Gigi got something I love. Gigi got teas, and I love tea. Okay, I'm a nutritionist. Of course, I love tea. And then with your tea, we don't even have to add honey to it. So
listen, you don't have to add honey. You don't have to add sugar. We're talking about 100% natural luxury. You guys know I put luxury on everything. Okay.
Yeah. So I can't wait to try other flavors. So I'm gonna be like, Gigi, watch this. Gigi, send me some tea in Vietnam, please.
Girl, and I will. I'll ship it right to Vietnam. Yeah. I am so excited for you, Cammie, and thank you so much just for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know you're busy. You are out being just a Black woman that is like empowering the world, like making power moves, but you took time just to come and spend a little time with me to have this important conversation with our listeners, and I appreciate you for that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Mwah.
Mwah. Thank you for having me. Thank you. So much gratitude to you, and I love the concept of your show and what you're doing. So kudos to you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. I want to just thank you, everyone, for tuning in to this episode, Thriving After Trauma. And I want to remind you that confidence is a journey. It's not a destination. So as you go on about your day and tomorrow, I just want to tell you to try to cultivate the things, the few tips that we gave you here tonight, and really try to hone in on those skills. I encourage you, I challenge you to really reflect on this, on what we discussed this week, and see how you can make it applicable to your life. Because building your confidence is going to be a journey, but we're here. We are cheering you on. We are rooting for you. You are going to win. And I thank you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you for tuning in to Confidence Tea Infusions. If no one else has told you lately, I love you.